Video, I'm going to quickly go over how to define one variable statistics on the TI-Nspire calculator. So the first slide here of data that I have is just a list of numbers. It's one section scores on the IB Math SL exam. They range from 1 through 7. If you wanted to get statistics about this set, like the mean, the median, quartiles, you would add a lists and spreadsheet page to your calculator, and it'll basically give you a spreadsheet to fill in, but you only need to fill in one column if all you have is a list of data. You should still name it. So in the box called A, name your data something. I'm going to name mine scores. Skip the next box and then go down to where it says 1 and just start entering the data in a vertical list. So 6, then 4, then 3, then 1, 5, 3, 3, 7, 2, 4, 4, 5. Once you've got all your data entered, all the statistics that you're going to be interested in are underneath Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations. Clicked a little too fast. Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations, OneVariable Statistics. There's only one variable of information here, and that's scores on an exam. Number of lists is 1. We hit OK. The only thing we need to do on this screen is select our data from this drop-down menu. So we named it scores. We need to make sure we select it. We don't need to worry about any of the other boxes here. We hit OK, and then it gives us some statistics. X with a bar over it, this 3.91667, that's mean. So that's the mean of the X variable, which is the only variable we're looking at here. There are some other things here. We scroll down to this sigma X. This is the standard deviation, and represents the total number of elements in the data set. So there were 12 students in this class. And then you can see there's other information here, like quartiles, the median, and so on. If your data is presented in a frequency table, okay, I'm going to add a new list and spreadsheet page. A frequency table is still only one piece of information that's been collected. And in this case, it's the mark on some quiz, I guess. The scores range from 4 through 10. The frequency is the number of individuals who scored that mark. That doesn't count as a data point. That's not a variable. That's just how many times the data appeared on the list. So this is still one variable statistics. It's just represented in this table, so you don't have to look at this really long list. There's probably over 20 people in this data set. It would be annoying to have to list that many numbers. So here it is in a table. When you're looking for one variable statistics from a frequency table, now we're going to fill something into column A and column B. I'm going to name it mark frequency. Make sure you name your columns. In the first column, it should look exactly like what you're seeing. The first column, we enter the data. And in the second column, we enter the frequency. We have to be careful when we're looking for the statistics here that when we go to menu, statistics, stat calculations, it is still one variable statistics. Number of lists is still 1. Now we have to look at 2 things on this page, and that is to select the actual data as our X1 list and the frequency list as whatever we named our frequency column. And now the calculator knows that although there are 2 columns of numbers, the second column here is a frequency list and not a second variable. So we hit OK, and it gives us, and I'm going to scroll back up and stop, it gives us the mean, standard deviation, and so on. And yes, indeed, there were 20 people on this table. And the last thing, the last little nuance here would be if your data was in a grouped frequency table. This is still one variable. The only variable I see collected here is the height of something. I'm not sure what these are, sunflowers, perhaps. That's the only variable that's been collected, only now instead of listing the height of each sunflower, the data has been grouped. So the sunflowers that fall between 0 and 10 are all in the first category, and that's 5 of them. And then there are 12 that fall in the next category, and so on. Here, when we're trying to get statistics, all we're really getting is estimates of things. We can't get the real mean of the height of these flowers because we don't have real data. We just have classes. So we're getting an estimate here. When you do this on a calculator, you'll want to enter the mid-interval value of each class. So the mid-interval value for the first class is 5 because halfway between 0 and 10 is 5. 15, 25, 35, and 45. And again, these are just estimates because we don't know the actual heights of the sunflowers in these classes. We're going to assume that they average around in the middle of each class. And then the rest of it is just like the regular frequency table. Just keeping in mind, this is only an estimate. So here we go to stat calculations, OneVariable statistics. Again, we're selecting the X1 list is the actual data, frequency, and it gives us an estimate of the mean for the heights here and an estimate of the standard deviation. So just remember that these are estimates. And that is all.